A dying millionaire refused all treatment, until a beautiful doctor risked her career to save him, and touched his soul. The world knew Charles Bennett as a ruthless tycoon, a man whose empire stretched from New York to Los Angeles, built on power, profit, and unyielding control. But when illness struck, it stripped away the suits, the limousines, and the arrogance, leaving only a frail man lying in a sterile hospital room. The doctors had offered treatments, hope even, but Charles refused. "I've lived my life. Don't waste your efforts on me," he growled, his voice sharp but hollow. To him, healing felt pointless. Wealth couldn't buy time, and in his eyes, kindness had always been a luxury for the weak. Dr. Emily Carter, young yet renowned for her brilliance and compassion, had been assigned to his case. Unlike the others, she didn't see just a dying billionaire, she saw a man drowning in loneliness. Her colleagues warned her, "Don't push him. He'll sue, or worse, ruin your career." Charles was notorious for destroying people who crossed him. But Emily couldn't walk away. Something in his weary eyes told her he wasn't ready to die, he was simply too afraid to live. One evening, as the city lights flickered beyond the hospital window, Emily sat beside his bed. Instead of medical jargon, she spoke softly. "Mr. Bennett, do you ever wonder why you're still here? Why your heart keeps fighting, even when your mind wants to give up?" He turned away, irritated, but her words lingered. No one had ever dared question him without fear. Days passed, and Emily began breaking the rules. She stayed beyond her shifts, reading to him from her favorite books, bringing him simple meals from outside the hospital, even telling him stories of her childhood, stories filled with warmth, laughter, and the kind of love Charles had never known. At first, he scoffed. "Do you think your little fairy tales will cure cancer?" he snapped. But beneath the sarcasm was a flicker of something he hadn't felt in years, longing. One night, Charles confessed something no one else knew. "I built everything, towers, companies, fortunes. But I never built a family. My wife left me years ago. My son won't speak to me. I'm dying, and I'll die alone." His voice cracked, and for the first time, Emily saw not a giant of industry, but a broken man haunted by regrets. Emily placed her hand gently over his. "Then let's not waste the time you have left. Let me fight for you, even if you won't fight for yourself." It was a risk. Administering treatment without his formal consent could cost her license. But Emily's heart outweighed the rules. She adjusted his medications, encouraged small therapies, and surrounded him with reminders of life beyond the walls of sickness. Weeks turned into months. Against all odds, Charles grew stronger. His color returned, his laughter, though rare, echoed in the room, and he began asking questions about Emily's life. One morning, he startled her with a request, "Find my son. Tell him. I want to see him." Emily's chest tightened. This was the breakthrough she had prayed for, not just healing of the body, but of the soul. It wasn't easy. Charles's son, Daniel, had carried years of anger. He wanted nothing to do with the father who had missed birthdays, graduations, and every moment that mattered. But Emily pleaded with him. "He's not the man you remember. He's a man searching for forgiveness. Please, give him this chance." Against his better judgment, Daniel agreed. The reunion was raw and unpolished. Charles trembled as his son entered the room. For a moment, silence filled the air, thick with years of bitterness. Then Charles whispered, "I don't deserve your forgiveness. But if I could trade every dollar I made just to hold my son's hand again, I would." Tears glistened in Daniel's eyes as he stepped forward. For the first time in decades, father and son embraced. Emily, standing quietly in the corner, felt her heart swell. From that day on, Charles was a changed man. He donated millions, not to expand his empire, but to fund hospitals, schools, and shelters. "It's not about what you leave behind in buildings," he said once during an interview, "but in people." He credited his transformation not to medicine, but to a young doctor who dared to break the rules for the sake of compassion. Months later, when Charles finally passed, he did not die alone. His son held his hand, whispering prayers of peace. Emily was there too, her presence a reminder that humanity still thrived in unexpected places. And though the world remembered Charles Bennett as a billionaire, Emily remembered him as something far greater, a man who discovered too late that life's true wealth was never measured in dollars, but in love. The story of Charles and Emily spread beyond the hospital walls, inspiring countless others. And at its heart lay a truth so simple, yet so powerful: sometimes, healing isn't found in medicine or wealth, it's found in the courage of one soul daring to care for another.